Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ryan Retro channel. The AYN Thor is absolutely amazing because it has these two screens we can use for so many purposes, from gaming to media consumption to all kinds of other things. So today we're going to look at some use cases for this second screen, the thing that sets the AYN Thor apart from other handhelds. So let's kick things off nice and simple and let's look at a dual screen launcher. This is Cocoon, which is probably the most popular one these days. It has all kinds of different themes available. This one I'm using is called Weave, which is based on the Nintendo Wii, and I think it looks really nice. On the bottom screen, I'm able to scroll through all of my different systems, and then I see a nice big picture on the top screen. So I can scroll through to whichever system I want, let's say Nintendo GameCube, and if I select that, it then brings up the list of my GameCube games, and once again, we're seeing a nice big representation of those games on the top screen as I scroll through. I think this looks absolutely beautiful. We can also press the X button and that will switch the screens around if I want to scroll through my games on the top screen and see the preview on the bottom screen. This is just such a well-made front end, and my favorite thing about it is that if you go into the settings and go to the Silk Pod, you can so easily scroll through different themes created by the community and install them in just a couple of clicks. For example, if I wanted this Super Mario 3D Land skin, I can just select that, press install, you'll see it starting to download at the top of the screen. Then once that's installed, you can just come to your theme menu, choose a theme, and select that new one. Now I've got a totally new theme and changed how my device looks. It's super easy. You can also easily launch into applications from here. I think this is really nice. Once you've got your front end set up, it's time to get into some games. And this is the most obvious use case for having two screens, which is dual screen gaming, things like Nintendo DS. So if we jump into a Pokemon game like this, here we are inside the game, and we're able to use the two screens just like we would on a real DS, but the screens here are much higher quality. Both screens are touchscreens, of course, so we're able to use them with our hands, or with a capacitive stylus, so it can be more like the real experience playing on an actual DS. It's really nice to play these games on a nice big display that's full HD, great quality, two beautiful OLED screens with the contrast, saturation, and viewing angles. It's just wonderful. As well as Nintendo DS, we can of course play 3DS as well. 3DS will of course be far more demanding than regular DS, and we'll of course lose the 3D aspect of the real 3DS. We don't have that special kind of screen here, but we do have a beautiful screen. Everything looks fantastic. Of course, we still have touch control as well if we want to change the map by tapping on it. It's a really nice 3DS experience. Sometimes 3DS emulation isn't perfect. It's not a super mature emulator like something like GameCube, for example. Wow, I really chose the wrong way there. But this is one of the most fun systems to play, at least for me on the AYN Thor. It really shows why it's such a beautiful console. Being able to play 3DS like this, it just looks so good on these screens. It's a really nice experience. But we can, of course, play even more demanding dual screen games. Like Wii U. Here I am in the beginning island of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. This is such a beautiful game. Wii U will not run perfectly on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip here. Some games will run fine, some may be a little bit laggy. This is a game that gets laggier as you get further into the game. Here on the starting island, things are okay, it's not too bad, but it won't be perfect throughout. You'll probably be better off playing the GameCube game of this one. But just to show, we do have fully working dual screen support. I'm able to use the touchscreen at the bottom to go through my options and menus. You will see giant black bars at the top and bottom of the screen. This is one of the cases where if you go for the black model of this, it will perfectly blend in and things will look a little bit better. So I chose to go for the rainbow variant here just to look a little bit different, and I personally think this is a really nice handheld. So if you want to try some Wii U gaming, performance will not be perfect, but it will be playable. You are able to get that dual screen experience, and it does look fantastic on these screens. To get dual screen support for some of these games I'm showing you in the video, you need to use specific forks of the emulators, not the standard ones. So I will link all the emulators I showed off in this video in the description below, just under the like and subscribe buttons. As well as playing dual screen games on this device using both of the screens, you can also enhance single screen games as well. So here I'm playing Pokemon Ruby, and I can do some things to enhance my experience. One example would be to bring up a guide, a map, or even a Pokedex on the bottom screen. Oh, right now I can see my face on the bottom screen. Hello. Add that in as a bonus extra. You can see your face on the bottom screen like a little mirror. Is that what I look like? So I'm going to come into my settings here in Cocoon, and I'm going to open DualScreenDex. I'm going to launch it on the bottom screen, All we need to do in this application is tell it what generation of game we're playing. If we're playing Generation 1, Generation 2 to 5, 6 plus, and it also supports Radical Red and Luminescent Platinum. So here I'm playing Pokemon Ruby, so I'm going to say it's Generation 2 to 5. So this is a Pokedex where you're able to select any Pokemon and see its type, what it's strong against and what it's weak against. But the cool thing about this is it can actually scan your screen and update in real time. So right now it's telling us we're in a battle with an Oddish. It tells me that the Oddish is a grass and poison type, so I should be using fire, ice, flying or psychic moves against it. So here I'm going to use Ember, my fire move. And of course, as we all know, that will be super effective and I'll get an easy win. Now if I get into another battle, you're going to see it automatically change from Oddish to Electrike. It tells me once again the type of Electrike and what kind of moves I should be using against it. So this is a nice little helper, a little aid. You don't need to keep searching on wikis online. You don't need to grab your phone or a laptop and search what type a Pokemon is if you don't remember. It's a nice easy way to see what type Pokemon are as you're playing the game. So I will include a link to this in the description below so you can get an interactive Pokedex as you play through your Pokemon games. But maybe while you're playing your Pokemon games, you might prefer to read a guide. So here I'm using an app called Moon Reader. There are lots of different reading apps available. And I've downloaded a PDF that someone has just scanned one of their old game guides. I remember having these as a kid and loving these guides. So if I'm playing a Pokemon game for the first time in a long time, here I'm getting into Viridian City, for example, I can just pull up this guide at the top of the screen, and I can check out all the things I can do in Viridian City, just like how I did back in the early 2000s, sitting on the sofa with a book like this, looking through all the things I can do. This really hits nostalgia for me. And this is something I can recommend if you're playing through a Pokemon game and you're getting stuck. This is the real retro way of carrying on, because this is what I did like 25 years ago. But then what did we do after we moved on from the books? We then moved on to a new method, at least I did, and that was GameFAQs. This is an app called Pixel Guide, which will let you easily search for any game you might be playing through websites like GameFAQs and other game guide websites. You just need to hit the plus button and then search for a game. For example, here I'm playing Pokemon Fire Red, so I'll search Pokemon Fire Red. Here is the game, so I'll tap on that. And then we can choose what we're looking for. I'm looking for guides, so let's hit find. And then you can choose where you'd like to find the guides from. GameFAQs, NeoSeeker, there are various options available. I want a GameFAQ guide, so I'm going to hit the top button. We need to verify that we're a human, and then it will take us to the GameFAQs website, and we'll be able to easily download one. So I'll hit the guides button, and then I'll choose the one at the top of the list, the most recommended guide and walkthrough, and then we can hit download. It will download immediately because it's just a text file, less than 1 megabyte. And now we have our guide. And here is our GameFAQ guide. This really brings me back to the early 2000s, maybe the late 2000s, scrolling through these guides from GameFAQs to make sure I did everything the best I could. And that will be added to your library. So the next time you open the app, you have your guide right here. I've got a Pokemon Ruby guide, a Pokemon Fire Red guide, and they're just ready to go. Tapping on the game and then the guide will open it immediately. And crucially, it will remember exactly where you were, like any book reading application. That's the important part because these guides are insanely long. So as you can see, when I go back, it says I'm 7% complete and it's going to remember my place in the guide. So if you like those GameFAQ guides that are just text with no images, Pixel Guide has got you covered here. For me personally, I like to use those paper guides that I downloaded PDFs of, because I'm just more of a visual learner. And as you can see me zooming into the screen and moving around, sometimes you might want to do that in one of your games. That was one of the features of the AYN Pocket DS, the ability to just magnify and zoom into anything on the screen. Thankfully, someone's grabbed the application and we can use it on the AYN Thor as well. Let's say I'm playing a game like Ever After Falls here or Stardew Valley, where it's important that I wrap up all of my business before nighttime. I need to keep an eye on the clock and make sure that I get everything done before nightfall hits. But the clock is absolutely minuscule up there and I don't want to keep staring at that all day long. So what we can do is zoom into that part of the screen and have it nice and large down here. So we can use the Pocket DS magnifying application here. Let's open it and launch it on the bottom screen. We then need to start mirroring our top screen, so copying the top screen down the bottom. So let's hit start now. And here we have a copy of our top screen at the bottom. But the difference is we can freely zoom this in and move it around. So I could zoom right in and move up to the top of the screen where the clock is. And then I've got the clock nice and big here, so I can freely just carry on playing my game and moving around, and I never need to worry about what the time is because it's absolutely ginormous now. I don't even need to look at that screen, I can just see it in my peripheral vision. A good use case for this would be games that have a little mini map on the screen that can be quite small and hard to see. I'm racking my brain now trying to think of an example, and typically as I sit down to film a video, my brain's gone blank. But I'm sure you can think of lots of examples of games that have a little mini map. Maybe games like Call of Duty or Battlefield, and you want to keep your eyes peeled for anyone coming towards you. You can use this app to mirror that screen down to the second screen and zoom right into the mini map so that if an enemy is nearby, you're going to see it really easily. And as well as enlarging things on the screen, you might sometimes want to also type some messages. Maybe you're playing games with friends, maybe you're playing games that use the keyboard a lot. For example, if I were playing Stardew Valley with my girlfriend, then maybe I'd want to send a message. But there's not really an easy way to bring up a keyboard on a traditional handheld. Some apps like Game Native here do let you bring a keyboard up onto the screen, but it usually covers almost all of the screen. Sometimes it does cover the whole screen. The default screen that comes with Android can be pinned onto the bottom screen by hitting the little pin button and then pin on the bottom screen. That's one option that's not too bad. I wish this game was loading, by the way, because it's entirely text-based, so it would have been perfect if it will let me hit the play button. So this is one option, just pinning the default keyboard on the bottom. But thankfully there has been an app specifically designed for the AYN Thor for this purpose. Or should I say for this purpose. That is the DS keyboard app that looks like this. It's a very nice looking app, and not only does it have the usual keyboard buttons, it also has F keys, a numpad, and various other things that the default built-in Android keyboard just doesn't have. So here is Stardew Valley running through Cinderbox. That is a way to play your desktop Stardew Valley with all of your mods directly on Android. So here I have my NPC map mod, and I can see where everybody is on the map, for example. In Stardew Valley, if you want to start typing, you need to hit the T button. So on my keyboard right here, I can just hit T, and I can start typing a message, and easily send some messages to the people we're playing with. And while we're here in Stardew Valley, another dedicated companion app we have here is called Gunther's Library. This is kind of like a to-do list, organizer, and management app. So you can go through all the things you need to do, you can learn how to do something, you can learn how to make your way through the mines, you can learn what each tool does, and how to make each one to upgrade them and progress through the game. You can choose your favorite villagers, and if anything is of particular importance to you, everything has a bookmark button at the top of the screen, which will add that thing or person as a book on your bookshelf, so you can easily come back to it at any time. It's a beautiful application for tracking how things are going and making sure you get the most out of your save. If you'd like to look at some maps while you play so you can see where to go, there is MapGenie in the Play Store. They have maps for all different kinds of games. They've got Red Dead Redemption 2, Genshin Impact, Elden Ring, Hogwarts Legacy, Diablo 4. They've got loads of games available. Here I've got the map for Skyrim down here. So using the two screens that we've got, we could launch Skyrim on one of our screens, and then we can use the map at the bottom to see where we're going. Typically, as I sit down to film this video, my Skyrim will not launch right now. It was working absolutely fine yesterday, now it doesn't want to play. But just pretend Skyrim is working up here. You know what, I'll put this on the table, and maybe my amazing editor Steve can really earn his salary right now by making it look like Skyrim is running on this screen. I trust you, Steve. So Skyrim's going to be running perfectly up here, and I can show you the map down here. So we could search for a town. Let's say we were in Whiterun. And it will take us to Whiterun on the map, and then we can choose what we're looking for. So by default, it's going to show just absolutely everything. It's going to show people, it's going to show camps, it's going to show homes. What we can do is click on the hamburger menu over here, hide everything, and just select what we actually want. I keep cities turned on just so I can kind of get my bearings and I don't get completely lost. But let's say, for example, I'm looking for farms. There are 9 farms, and by checking farm, all the farms are going to show up on the map, and I can easily navigate myself to one of the nearby farms. Unfortunately, it doesn't know where you are, and it doesn't act like Google Maps or a GPS. But if you can find your rough location in the game and match your in-game map, which I'm sure Steve is showing you beautifully right now, then you can get your bearings, and it's easier than just constantly going to the internet all the time to find maps. I think this is pretty cool. It's not the best implementation because you do have to kind of figure out where you are every now and again, but I think it's pretty useful. And on the topic of not really working well but being possibly great, we have the Amethyst launcher here for Minecraft, which has recently added dual screen support. So as I play through the game, here I'm just at the beginning of a new world, I only just installed the app, we have a second screen experience here. We're able to access our inventory and look through our items, we're able to see the compass, but as you can see, unfortunately, it's not working for me. I don't know how to get this one working. If you know, let me know in the comments below. But what you should be able to see here is a full inventory, be able to go through your inventory, interact with everything, a dual screen experience for Minecraft. An alternative to this, if you're playing the Play Store version of Minecraft, which will of course not support that Amethyst second screen, is to try one of the many Minecraft apps from the Play Store, for example, CleverBook. And while CleverBook is not directly linked to your game, you are able to easily search for things. For example, if you don't remember how to make a pickaxe, you can just search for the pickaxe you're looking for, and it will show you here what you need. So you can then go collect things and make it. Whenever I play Minecraft, I always forget how to make anything with redstone. So for example, a redstone repeater, here I can see all the things I need in order to make something with redstone. So another nice little handy companion app, which is where I think the AYN Thor really shines. Being able to see some kind of guide, some kind of help, without needing to constantly get another device like a phone or a laptop in order to do this. It's all just self-contained, which I think is awesome. And if at any point you're not using the bottom screen, you can of course just turn it off and save some battery life, and maybe check out your chin and nose. If you like to play some games in foreign languages, maybe JRPGs or something like that, here I have a Japanese J-League football game, you might want to sometimes translate those words and maybe even use it as a way of studying. That's where the next app comes in handy, which is called ThorTranslate. If I launch that on the bottom screen, we're able to use a couple of offline language models that are built in, but I found them to be quite bad. Instead, you can connect Gemini or ChatGPT using your API key. So I've connected Gemini to this, and it's now working really well. All you need to do is hit the translate button and allow recording, so it's going to start recording and mirroring this screen, and then it's going to translate whatever is on this screen. Now it's not real time, it takes a few seconds, but as you can see we have mode select, 4 Japanese options, and then edit. Now on this screen I can see we have mode select, pre-season match, which it lets me know is currently selected, J-League, cup match, all-star, and edit. Now, because this is using Gemini, it also gives some advice as well. You are on the mode selection screen. The preseason match option is currently highlighted. To continue, you can select this option or move to another mode like J-League, Cup Match, All-Star, or Edit. So let's choose Cup Match. Now once again, I have a big list of Japanese terms that I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to hit the translate button again, and it's now going to translate what's on the screen here. So as you can see, this is not going to be great for fast-moving games, but I mean, of course you're not going to be able to play a fast-moving game if you don't know the language. This is for turn-based games, slow games, or just learning the language. So now it tells us that the screen shows the club select menu. We can see that. It says player 1, and then loads of Japanese words that I don't know. On the left, you have a list of clubs to choose from. 1P, that's player 1, Antlers, this is currently selected. Then it has a list of other team names, and what they actually mean. I think this is one of those games where they're using fake names for the teams, like Pro Evolution Soccer back in the day. So let's say, for example, I want to be Nagoya Grampus, previous team of the fantastic Arsene Wenger, my hero. We're going to scroll down to the 4th from the bottom option, and I can actually even see there, it says Grampus. So that's the one I want to be, and it gives us more information. So this is a great way to make your way through games. We also have a JP dictionary, which I think is only for Japanese words. So with the JP dictionary selected, if we hit translate one more time, it's going to load up the words on the screen again, and it's going to give us the Japanese word and the English word together in a little dictionary format, so you can actually study those words if you want. So this is pretty cool if you play some games and you want to translate them. It's not only for Japanese, it does work with a few other languages as well. Here is my Korean version of Wii Sports. If I hit the translate button again, so it will capture what's on the screen now, As you can see, it's now translated that into English using Gemini. It explains what everything means. But unfortunately, the JP dictionary is only for Japanese, so I'm not able to get a dictionary format. I do hope this is expanded in the future. As someone who usually plays Korean games more than Japanese games, that would be useful for me. But if you do just want to translate things on the screen, this is an easy way to do it. And one more option is that you can choose to only translate a certain section of the screen. By default, it translates the whole screen, but up here where it says full, you can instead select a little area and only translate that specific region. So let's hit translate one more time, and now I'm only translating this one Korean line, which says please press A and B simultaneously. You need to press the A and B buttons on your controller or keyboard at the same time to proceed. So I think this is pretty useful. We can of course also use the second screen for entertainment as well. So if you're someone like me who likes to watch a video while playing a game, especially if it's a slower paced turn-based game, then you can do that. You can play games on one screen while watching a video on the other screen. For me, this is where the AYN Thor really shines. Being able to play my GameCube games on the bottom screen while watching live football on the top screen. This is just absolute perfection. This is what I've dreamed of since I was a kid. For me, this is what makes the AYN Thor the best handheld you can get right now. Because while it's not the most powerful or the most comfortable, there's just no other handheld on the market that will let you do something like this. Play games from your childhood, play modern games, play almost any game you can imagine, while also enjoying content without needing to miss the football. While connecting up a baby monitor or connecting to your friends over Discord, you don't need to only pick one thing. You're able to do multiple things at once, all on a device that then folds up and fits in your pocket. I think this is really special. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please give me a like and subscribe if you didn't already. Subscribe for loads more AYN Thor content coming soon, including taking this outside and actually touching grass. Thank you so much to all my Patreons who help support me and keep these videos and my website alive. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sure it won't be long before we're saying hello again.